How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today, I wanted to share with you a handful of things that I have done wrong or I didn't know when I was beginning RVing that was very helpful when I did learn them. I'm learning all the time about RVing and just passing that information along to you. So today, we're going to be looking at the list of things that I have done wrong. So let's dive into the list of things that I have done wrong. Number one on the list is a long time ago when I installed a backup camera on the back of our RV. I just took those three lights up at the top, I pulled the center light out, and I put the camera right in that spot. It's actually not the way that you're supposed to do it. I could mount that camera above that light, but there is a code for why there are three lights in the center of an RV. So you see these wider vehicles, it denotes when you're going down the road that you're a wider vehicle. So you'll see it on semis, you'll see it on RVs, travel trailers, fifth wheels. You'll see it on these larger, wider vehicles. So that actually means something and is supposed to be there. So that was a pretty easy fix. I put the light back in the center, put the camera above it, and then I was good to go on code. The three lights were there to mark that our vehicle is a wider vehicle. On the new RV that we have, it has a spot for a camera in the back anyways, so it's real easy to mount that. But on the older RV, I didn't have that option. So just make sure if you're installing a camera or doing something to the lights that those lights actually do mean something on the back of the RV. And that goes for the lights on the side too. There's cameras that you can put on the side. Those lights need to be on the side of your RV. So don't remove the lights, but you can add a camera to those lights. Just know that those lights actually do mean something. Now, I never got pulled over for it. I don't think I ever would have been pulled over for not having that center light on the back of the RV, but it's something that I did wrong. Now for the second one, we didn't actually do this wrong, but we just kind of got lucky because of the system that we were using. And it's that we didn't know in some states you're not allowed to take your RV on parkways. So places like New York, Connecticut, places like that, you can't take your RV on their parkways. They're just not allowed. So if you're using a normal GPS and you're traveling around, you could find yourself on a parkway with your RV and you could get pulled over for something like that. They will get you off those parkways rather quickly if they see you on there. We were using a trucker atlas, we were using a trucker GPS, so the commercial vehicles weren't allowed on the parkways either, and so they steered us clear of going on those parkways. But if we weren't using those tools, we very well could have ended up on the parkways or some of these tunnels where we shouldn't have been with the RV. Now, tunnels is another topic there too, because some tunnels you can go through with propane on your RV, and then there's some tunnels like in Connecticut that you can't go through the tunnels. So you definitely want to know your route when traveling with the RV, especially in the Northeast. Us being from Arizona, you didn't really have a whole lot of restrictions. You didn't have a whole lot of roads that you couldn't go on. So when we went to the Northeast, we ended up using, like I said, the Trucker Atlas. We're due to get one of these. We like to get one every 2 to 3 years. You can see that this thing gets beat up quite a bit. It's fun to go through. It's fun to look at. I like using a paper map at times. We also do have a Trucker GPS that we use inside that helps keep us on the route. So if we needed to reroute or something, but it's nice to have a paper copy in hand. There'll be oftentimes that we'll be driving down the road, we'll kind of check out a route, see if there's something that we wanted to do, go a different direction what the GPS was saying, and this keeps us from getting in trouble, especially, like I said, in the Northeast. So I'll be sure to put a link down in the description to everything that we're talking about today, things like this Trucker Atlas. I'll put a link down in the description to a Garmin GPS and the GPS system that we use, also the other products that help me do things properly and the other tips that we're going to be talking about. So everything will be down in the description. Nice things to have on hand. Now, moving on to a simple one is the drain pipe cap on your RV when you're going down the road. Now, I do have to say, I have done this one on accident a couple of times. When you walk around the RV to make sure that everything is done and that you're ready to hit the road, this is something that's easy to forget. And so I had it dangling down here a couple of times. And the reason why this is important is because you're not allowed to dump any water on the road as you're going down the road. So all the valves need to be closed. This needs to be on there so that you don't lose any water. It's easy to have a belly in the pipe in there or some water that's trapped in there, maybe a valve that's not sealing all the way, and you don't want that water coming out as you're going down the road. So having the cap on there is required. I also like having this gate valve. I've talked about that before because when you take this cap off, and if you do have some of that water that's back in there, it's not going to be a surprise when you take this cap off. It's going to be nice, clean, and sanitary. You can take the cap off, you can connect up your hose, and then you can open up the valve. So I can't say enough great things about having that gate valve at the end of the connection here. Now, another thing that I learned when I learned that little bit of information is you're not allowed to lock access to your propane tank in the RV. If you had a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, you can lock those tanks to the RV, but the valve to be able to turn them off is supposed to be accessible. So no putting locks on the doors to access the propane tanks. Now, there are options to be able to lock up your propane tanks if you wanted to do that. So if you had a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, the travel trailer will oftentimes have 2 tanks on the tongue of the RV. Well, you can get a lockable wing nut that you can tighten down on there. On our fifth wheel, we have these straps. If you didn't have straps on your RV, you can get those from Dyers. It's a great way to be able to make sure your tank is secure in here, not going to move around while you're traveling down the road. I'll put a link down in the description to that. But it also has this place on here where you can put a lock. Now, it's not going to be super secure. Somebody can definitely get through this. It wouldn't be that hard to cut a lock, but it's going to keep honest people honest. So it's going to be that one more step. If somebody wanted to steal your tanks, you could lock them up. So we haven't locked ours, but it is an option. Just don't lock the door. Also, while we're talking about propane, the little 1 pound disposable propane bottles that people love to be able to get the little adapter, be able to connect it to a larger tank and refill. Once you refill those, you actually can't travel with those. You're not supposed to travel with those once they have been refilled. But there is a refillable 1 pound bottle. There's actually a whole system where you can put your cylinder upside down, have the valves, be able to open it up so that you don't overfill the 1 pound bottle, and it has the proper valve on there to do it. And so this is a bottle that you can actually fill and use with your different devices that you could travel with. So if you've just been using that little adapter and using it on the disposable bottles, you're actually not supposed to put those inside of your RV and travel down the road. So if you were to get one of these other ones that you can refill and it has the valve that you can turn with a little Allen wrench and then you can close it back down effectively and efficiently, that's the way that you should go if you like to refill those 1 pound bottles. So I think that's going to do it for our list today. These are just the things that came to the top of my mind. There's other things that I have done wrong, I'm sure. And as soon as I'm done recording, I will probably think of them and want to add them. But this is the list that kind of came to the top of my mind this week of things that I've done wrong or things that I learned that I kind of narrowly escaped because I didn't know them in the beginning. So like I said, that's going to do it for today. I hope this list helps you out. I hope that you learned something today. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos about RVing, hit that subscribe button. If we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you next video.